Hello and welcome to Blazing Fire. This is episode 3. My name is Ez.
Albert Mac. Yeah.
And welcome to you all watching whatever you might be. So thanks for being with us, and also I hope you watch episode 1 and also episode 2. And if you didn't subscribe to our channel and ring the bell. And today's topic is culture. What's culture? And before we even go any further, I've got questions that we will ask you and we'll ask ourselves,
All of us.
and also please do leave comments or feedback or whatever it is regarding that topic. And we're just gonna go straight into it. What culture mean to you, to us,
And to you.
What does culture mean to you, man?
Yeah, you.
Is it me? All right,
Yeah,
cool,
it's
cool.
good.
Man, well, culture means a lot of things. But for me, culture means home, culture means food, culture means clothes, culture means dance, culture means music, culture means language.
You're gonna take them all?
Yeah,
man?
the way you behave. So to me, that's what culture means. And I don't know. There's a lot of elements in culture, but to me, that's what it means.
Wow, that's good. That's very good. But yeah, for me, culture is the same. Everything he mentioned, food, dancing, culture. But if I look deep into where I come from, culture also, I guess, means the roots, of my home, how few years ago people used to do things that, they don't promote them or, practice them much anymore, but those used to be actually culture that identifies, people. For example, in my culture where I come from, Lugbara people, I think they used to take women, we used to be a fashion thing. They used to take your tooth, I think, at the front off, and that was a culture thing. It wasn't like someone lost their teeth or something like that. It was a culture thing. And then they used to, as you can see, is it in South Sudan, is it the Dinka people?
Yeah, Dinka people,
that have those marks on their...
Yeah, I think all of us.
So that used to be culture, but now they don't practice that anymore. The new generation don't get those things. You do that to someone right now, they'll be like, what the hell is that? Why?
Yeah.
But so that's it. But for me, mainly it's food, the even language, the way it identifies. If I go to another city, you speak that language, and then they'll be like, yep, this person from this, culture or tribe, So, yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, as they mentioned, sometimes culture is about what you're wearing.
Yep.
Culture is about the even the hairstyle, the way you get your hair cut.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, fresh. I forgot about that one. I hope you can appreciate this fresh look, Thank you for bringing that up.
You're very welcome, bro. Yeah, and also one of the most important things, because culture is all about the where you belong, your background, and if we go a little bit more because in the Western world, having money is considered being rich, but in African culture, having cows, cattle,
Animal, yep.
is considered
Rich.
and also is more like a cultural thing. So we do it that way.
Yeah.
As a way to show off.
Yeah.
That I got it.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, and as they mention all of the things, so culture is where you belong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I just want to spend a little more time on that because, as you were saying, these two part, so there's the Western culture and also the African culture, the way we do our thing, and then the way cultures do their things as well. So how do you identify yourself with your culture root then. If because you've got like your roots here from Africa, and also some of roots that you probably identify yourself here in the Western world.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, not because as you as you travel and also go to different countries, and also as you step outside of Africa as well, there's so many other cultures outside of Africa that you become a lot more familiar with. Because example is like there's a Maori culture in New Zealand.
Yeah.
There's so much with the language is a bit similar to Dinka and Nuer language, and because they use that vowel. And then also the sense of respect, like because if you go to Marae, you go to like the way they respect their ancestors, or the way they respect their elders. It's something that I came to actually understand a lot more as I got into it a lot more, and it's just like it's amazing, just to be able to travel across the world and meet some other cultures as well. Yeah, so it's something that I find to be able to be connected and have that other people culture looking in, and also you feel that sense of connection. But and then if you look at the European culture, which is something that is a lot more completely opposite to ours, you can never swear to your elderly, nor a person that is grown a bit older than you. But I experienced seeing, a child, a teenager swear to a principals, and you like, really, this, is a principal.
In my country, that kid.
Like that in Africa, that's an ass whipping.
Yeah.
That.
What kind of culture is that?
You get your ass whipped for even it's not gonna be principal that is doing doing the ass
parents,
whipping. Will be someone else just because you disrespecting the elder, and also that's reflect on the community as well. If the disciplines of a child hasn't been done properly. Yeah, so that's something that I seen, the good side, and also I've seen the opposite side, which is something that a lot of our young one out there nowadays, they say that, by having this sense of responsibility and sense of freedom, you can do whatever. But just remember, knowing where you came from is actually give you a sense of belonging and a bit of more self-respect as well.
And you identify yourself with it as well, with that culture.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the cultural root, I guess, for me, it's all about the root. If you talk about the roots, it's like, let's say, hundreds of years ago, our ancestors and like our grandparents and our mothers came through that. That's like the root, like I was few, minutes ago, I just spoke about what they used to do, a while ago, which is now dying slowly. So that's the root. And the other things also, like we were talking about, in a episode, I think 2, we spoke about a little bit where we said, families, community, you're a community child. You're not only just your parents' child, or you're only, little group's child, That is also part of culture, over there. Like cultural, where I come from, you are a whole community, child. So in, dowries, marriage, the whole culture comes in a wedding. For example, here, there's sometimes you see some weddings, there's only 10 people, like 20 people. In my culture, wedding is for the whole community, when you
celebrate.
do wedding, be prepared to feed 200 plus people. People are gonna come naturally when you don't invite them. They are part of the culture automatically, which means they qualify to be part of that event. So that is what, if you go deep in the roots, that what culture, means. And the food here, you don't actually, over there, I can eat anywhere within my culture, within my, let's say, tribe or community. I can eat in any house. I can literally be like, hey, I'm hungry, do you have food or whatever. But here, everyone eats in their own households, like strangers, even stranger knocks on the door, like, it's like, what the hell are you doing here? Get out of here before I release my dog on you, So, but over there, food, you don't actually be stingy with the food. Food is actually cultural over there. Food is for everyone.
Exchange.
Yeah, you can't be stingy or anything with the food. Food is just literally there.
Yeah.
So, but if you talk about here too, identify with here, but here is just about, I guess it's about sense of belonging. Here there's no really deep root of culture. It's just about, all right, where do I belong? If you feel like you belong to a musical culture, a group, that's your culture. If you work with the film industry or arts, that's pretty much your culture there. So, but over here it's a bit hard for me to explain where I belong at the moment, because I still feel like I belong back home. That's why you always see me very generous, nice to people, always smiling, and then people be like, what's wrong with this? Why are you always smiling at me? Do I even know you? I'm like, yeah, that's me, And then the other thing you spoke about quickly was respect. That one, till now, they practice it a little bit, Literally, someone who is older than you, just even by a week, you need to respect them. Or you need to, over there we eat in a same plate where people gather around in a table. So the younger people will actually be standing, depending on how high the table is. If you're a bit taller, you actually be being on your knees like you eat, while the other elders actually sit on the seats, But if you're a kid and you refuse to give a seat for your elder, that's already automatically you're in trouble, So, but here, like you said again, I've seen, kids literally telling their parents, get out of my room, whatever.
That's crazy, man.
Back home, that means you're kicking yourself out of the house, Or you'll be rotating the veranda around, But here, and then the parents will be like, okay,
It's your room, it's your space.
Do whatever you want to do with it.
I mean, it's good, but I feel like, cultural where I come from, I feel like kids here have too much freedom. Where they feel like they can do whatever they want, swear to whoever they want, So, but...
The roots, they kind of cut short.
Yeah, the roots were, So that's my culture, what culture,
Yeah, man. For me, how to identify, myself. Like I remember when I was a little kid, we used to bring water, to the older people. Before they start eating, we need to pour water in their hands, and
they
wash their hands and stuff.
And then the younger ones will wash their hands later.
Yeah, and then the younger ones will wash their hand later. Or, the man here, and then the woman's here, and then the children just eat by themselves. Yeah. And then I think that was kind of very, very beautiful way where you differentiate the group. So young people, like-minded people, you put them together. And women, you put them together, and also men, you put them together. And then everybody have their own responsibility. And that responsibility is very valuable for the women who's in the house. No disrespect for the women who are in the Western world. If you don't understand that, we really, really apologize. But this is for identifying, myself with the culture where women who just look after their house, look after their children, and also look after themselves very, very clean and thoroughly. And when the man goes and work hard and then come back to the house, he's not gonna leave again. That's it. He came home. He stays, looking after his children, looking after his wife, and then the only time he goes out, he stays at the front of the house. Yeah. You know what I mean? Him having tea and all of those things. So now there's nobody's going to do some kind of maneuvering around. So I do identify myself with that culture where everything is kind of clean. You know, a man knows his role, women knows his role, children knows their role. Yeah. And then coming to the Western culture, we got lost in it.
I know.
So we lost our responsibility, you know, as men, and also women lost their own responsibility because everybody is fighting for something called career. Everybody's fighting for something called success. And then success is not a culture, by the way.
I know.
You know, success is just like it's in the book, or also how you do things. You know what I mean? And it's supposed to be inspiring. You're supposed to pass on the culture, pass on the knowledge. Then you identify yourself. And then, but if you just keep running and running and running, try to escalate to something else, and then you forget to pass the culture behind, you lost that. You don't identify yourself with it. So that's for me. Is to first of all to know your role as a man in the house, and women knows their role, and children know their role. Now there's nothing is gonna break them, as we said in the last episode, unity. So that's part of it too. So identifying yourself with those key role in the family, in the household, to me is deeply embedded in my roots of culture.
And the other thing, just to add quickly, is since you brought it up, is also, you know, the Western. I mean, it's not like we're pointing fingers or anything,
no
but you know,
it's blazing fire.
Yeah, it's blazing fire. We're here to speak openly.
Tell
the truth, and if you feel offended by some of the things we say, feel free to contact us
and also leave
a comment below. But what I'm saying is, you know, Western people through colonization, they are the ones actually who killed a lot of
other
cultures. For example, I remember back even till when I was born, people were still practicing that culture. We did not even care about money. We did not care about richness. We did not even we had something called barter trade. If you don't know, that's a change of goods for goods. Just for those who don't know what barter trade means by then. So we used to literally just change food. If I had corn, a bag of corn, but I didn't have beans, I would take half of my corns to you and you give me beans. Same, like that's how we used to, you know, that's how people used to unite. We spoke about in episode 2 about unity. People used to unite and people used to maintain that culture going ahead because we used to support each other. If I didn't have food in my house, I would literally go to my brother's house, sister's house, or my cousins or whatever house and be like, hey, you know, today I'm down on food, I don't have this, or I haven't harvested yet. Am I able to have this? And no one will literally say no. They will give you food straight away. How much do you need? They won't even ask, oh, I don't have nothing. They'll be like, how much do you need? Or they'll just go in and give you a whole bag and be like, take, because they know once you harvest, they're gonna have, you're gonna support them too. And that's what culture also means to me, being a root. Like even here, you know, I normally use the word to scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's cultural thing, that meaning I support you today, you support me tomorrow. But here some people have known where, you know, they buy you food today, or you borrow money, even let's say $50, straight away they'll literally demand their money back and be like, where's my $50? Forgetting that tomorrow you might need help.
They'll be like, oh, can you pay ID me?
Yeah, exactly. Pay ID me, blah, blah. That's not what actually culture where I come from is. If I give you something, I don't actually expect it back straight away or by cash. Could be different. Today I might give you money, but then tomorrow I might ask you to drive me somewhere. That exchange in different ways. You don't, you know, that's what I mean. So culture is actually dying in, especially Western world or Western colonization has killed a lot of cultures. Now people are adapting into money. Oh, I need this, rich in that, you know, I want to be successful. No, we used to be successful by culture. They used to just, elders used to pass the responsibilities on.
Just a question out there, like, can somebody define me what a success mean? I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about you not having those, but can you say what the success is?
No. This is a good question.
We'll go next one.
This is a great question, and we're gonna write it down here. Yeah. So this is like our nearly like kind of not nearly, but now we jumping on to something like what is pop culture? I want to know what pop culture is because there's a lot of people are talking about it since we're in the Western world, and a lot of people now they started to relate to that. First of all, what is pop culture, and how it relate to you out there, and also how it relate to us? I don't know, man, because to me, every time I see like
This is
like
a big topic, huh?
yeah, popular,
That's why we have this.
like a popular culture for me, yeah. So I see it online. I see it online a lot where people started to show off. I mean, their cars, their shoes. How rich they are, where they, there's a place where they can release the anger, a place where they can release their mental breakdown, a place where they can share the relationship, all of those things. So online it became like the new pop culture for me because back in the days, pop culture, it was like festivals, like where you go to the festival and you enjoy music with your friends, with your community, with the people from different communities, and also just kind of exchange ideas and meet different people from different part of the world, since we say Melbourne is a multicultural place. And it is multicultural. And then we just kind of like lost that a little bit because now black people in Melbourne specifically, they started to shift the culture into something else where they want to bring like black excellence, black movement, all of these like new events, and I'm like I don't relate, even though it's a black thing, but I don't relate. So I'm not offending anybody out there, but to me that's what I see.
It's your
popular
opinion. You don't need to apologize. It's your opinion. It's your idea.
And how it relate to me. This is like deja vu, to be honest. And how it relate to me. The fact that I am in the same social group, with everybody else, but at the same time, everybody else is doing something different. So now I relate to this person. I relate to that person in the same kind of social group. So I don't see myself I'm part of like a popular culture, apart from like very very small, which is this platform, the Blazing Fire. It's our pop culture. Yeah,
you hear that?
Yeah.
But for me, I guess I don't know. Like you said, I had a lot of idea. I hear.
The question is like, how about like what are some of the popular TV shows that you grew up watching them?
So
that could be related to the pop.
Yeah, well, in that case, for me, right now in small terms, I don't really like, as just said, I don't feel like I belong to any popular culture, because to me, personally, no offense out there again, the word culture means something else to me, means something deeper, means something is deep inside my blood, where I come from, how do you call it, ancient,
ancient.
Yeah, ancient, yeah. So that's what personally to me culture means. Like things like music or TV, movies or whatever, for me it doesn't mean like it's a culture. It's just like an entertainment thing where I'm just there passing time, trying to learn a way of educating myself. But to me it doesn't actually mean it's a culture, but if that's the way, and then for me, I guess, how do I relate to pop culture? I guess for me, it's just tiny bit, like where at that moment, who I'm with, I guess. So for example, if I go out, I love dancing, like whoever has seen me, when I go on a dance floor, I'll sweat, I'll dance, enjoy myself. But meaning at that moment, if I'm enjoying myself, I love that pop culture or whatever there, like of that music, kind of a music that's playing, whether it's R&B, whether it's Afro beats, whether it's reggae, you know, that is the moment I feel like I belong there. But, you know, if that is part of, I guess, pop culture, and then I feel like I belong right now to, like, again, you said, the tiny bit, you know, which I call we spoke about it in episode 2, like, you know, we created a WhatsApp group called, you know, Brothers in Arts. And then now that's where also Blazing Fire comes from. So that's where I feel like where I belong.
I think we are subculture.
Yeah, we're subculture. We're subculture now, you know, there you go. So that's where now I feel like I belong, because we, you know, as we spoke again in the episode, you know, I like sometimes, you know, paraphrasing things back. So in episode 2, we spoke about unity, and we have this unity here. That's why we came up with the Blazing Fire together. And then I guess it is my pop culture here in Australia. But otherwise, the word culture means just something very deep, very deep to me.
What is pop culture, and how does it relate to you?
It's like, where do I start?
Exactly.
Because to me, the popular culture or the pop culture, like, I grew up watching a lot of. I used to watch a lot of shows, by the way, but like now I don't watch any. I grew up watching like back in New Zealand. I used to watch Shortland Street, so it was one of those pop opera, whatever they call it. So I used to, I grew up watching, grew up watching Shortland Street, and I have that as the pop culture, I think. I grew up watching that. And to me, when you look at the culture, sometimes the culture have the art form and also the root history of what that culture is. So to me, when I sat back, and I try to understand a lot more about culture, and just to digress a little bit, I just need to give our women a props for them creating what they call a husbandry for something that.
No, what's that?
Husbandry is you know, is a farming, which the women, you know, the black women along the Nile. Actually, they were the first to actually came up with the idea, because the whole idea go back into the ancient days when the men would go hunting, and then when they go hunting, they wouldn't return home like in the complete numbers. You know, the lion will take their own bit. So the mothers came up with the idea of growing crops, and and then just come back with the pop culture. So to me, the pop culture is still an alien to me, even though I'm trying, because as an actor, I have to be part of this popular culture that is moving. You know, you have to be in the wave of doing it. So to me, when I look at pop culture, I used to perform to Caesar in the Colosseum. But back then, in African culture, if you call to God, you do a bit of a performance.
So in the church, people pray with the drums,
sacrifices.
So with those having that little bit of a cultural background, but the Western, when they came to study in Egypt and study the African culture as a spirituality before the Christianity and Islam and the rest of the other religion came about. This is how it used to happen. They used to do it, and they used to perform it on the street.
And there was like a pop culture back then.
It's a way to give acknowledgement to your God, or you're the creator. So
now everything has changed.
And then that's where the Western world adapted it, and then they took it, and then they turned it into something else as a way.
Cool. Man, you know, that's just
Western.
Western, we could go about, you know, this culture, how, let's say, Western world through colonization killed a lot of, you know, cultures or whatever. is, for example, let's say this is possibly another different topic, by the way, one day about like colonization, That's
Very
definitely
soon.
another
It
very
has to
soon.
happen.
It has to happen.
And if
But
you
the
got a
other
question,
thing is
so
also
we can-
culture is a big topic. So we are happy to make another episode about this, but depending on what kind of questions you have for us, so feel free. But what I was gonna say, two things I was gonna say is, one is, the other pop culture, I can say I have here is, my farm, the farm crew.
Oh yeah.
Liz and all that. We actually meeting, I think, next Sunday or something. So
all right, shout out to the
shout out.
popcorn, Liz,
That's
the whole
it.
Adsgen family.
Yeah, that is another pop culture I can find myself. I feel like that's family to me too. Like if that's part of the pop culture, And then the other thing is, Western world, again, speaking of Western world people, I mean the colonization. Imagine, speaking of River Nile, you said about River Nile. There's one thing that makes me laugh. We're gonna exploit more about, maybe colonization or whatever in a topic ahead, in another episode is, we Africans were already living along the River Nile, all that.
Yeah.
And then the Western, colonizers came, and then they were like, oh, we are the one who discovered this, who discovered that,
I think
you go like,
maybe the next topic should be the word discovery.
yeah, like discovery, I think. Actually, write it down.
Cool.
The
we
next
gotta write it
topic
down.
is
what is the word?
episode 4 is about discovery. What's the word? Discovery.
All right, cool. So before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to Albert and to Mark and to the next episode. As you heard, the word discovery. And if you enjoy if you enjoy this episode, so please leave some comments down and also ring the bell and subscribe.
Yeah.
And if you feeling that we're talking about sensitive topic, this is what the Blazing Fire is supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be touching some nerves and actually get into your dome and actually
get you thinking.
Make you think.
Yeah.
So because if we're saying something that is just gonna brush off your brain, that means that we're not doing our job. Our job is to make you think and to make you rewind these episodes and be like, okay, they say something about this last time, talking about husbandry. Go and do some research on husbandry. You might find something that is unique.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.